Again, how to detail using your discourse markers, your connectors. Okay, so that's Sunday, 10 p.m. Philippines time. Stand by on your group for our links. But for now, let's finish this one. Now, each sentence is connected by a bridge. Okay, they are called connective markers. What else? You must take every question as an opportunity to show your capability. Do not have the ideation that later on I will show my capacity. It's just the part one. It's just the part one. It's totally fine. No, it's not totally fine. Okay? Do not tell yourself on the examination, yes, it's okay. It's just the part one. It's okay for me to not detail here. Later on, I will detail. I will. And what have you? If you cannot even detail for part one, how can you detail on the second and the third part? Right? The part one the part one's questions are quite basic in nature. Okay, I'm not saying they're easy, but they are generalized when it comes to their knowledge and ideas. So if you cannot detail on generalized knowledge, let alone how can you detail on the second part with which you need to speak for 2 minutes and on the third part with which you need to deliver for abstract topics. I want you to consider that, my dear darling lovies, okay? Now, what else? Ensure that your examiner is hearing your structures for them to generate a commendable grade. Now, how do I ensure, Sir Joseph, that my examiner is hearing my structures? It's quite easy, my love. Detail. Detail as much as possible. As I always tell some of my students, you know what? In some questions, especially the difficult ones, you let your examiner interrupt you. Do not prematurely destroy your chances by saying, so that is my view as regards that. That's it. Yeah, so that's it. No. Okay? There are proper ways to close. There are proper ways to connect our ideas. There are proper ways to expand the ideas on the exam, given that the examination is technical because of these, right? Because of these, the grading criterias. Kung po pwede yung 1 to 2 sentences, naka-7 ka, malamang ang galing ng lexis mo, ang galing din ng pronunciation mo. Right? But what about for the students who are not, what about for the students who have a difficult time with their pronunciation? Right? Okay, so I want you to consider that, my lovies. Okay? Now, let's take a look at this sample answer right here. Okay? Do you think it is better to rent or buy a place to live in? It's not even too long. Look at this one. I am a firm believer of smart investments, so owning a house would be preferable. In a sense, when a person has their own domicile, the laborious process of paying a mortgage can be abated. Let us say a menial laborer paying for monthly amortization. This may cause them to have an Augean task of procuring financial stability for years on end if they were to pay the amount plus the interest. Look at that. Right? Again, I am a firm believer of smart investments, so owning a house would be preferable. In a sense, when a person has their own domicile, the laborious process of paying a mortgage can be abated. Let us say a menial laborer paying for monthly amortization. This may cause them to have an Augean task of procuring financial stability for years on end if they were to pay the amount plus the interest. Okay, Sir Joseph, what are the positive features of this speech right here? It looks like a speech to me. Okay, let me show you. Okay, let me just open my stamp right here. Look at this one. First things first, the connectors are there. Okay, you can immediately see the connectors. Where are the connectors, Sir Joseph? Could you please point them out? Okay, look at this one. In a sense, right? When a person has their own domicile, the laborious process of paying a mortgage can be abated. Let us say a menial laborer paying for a monthly amortization. This may cause them to have an Augean task of procuring financial stability for years on end if they were to pay the amount plus the interest. Now, was I able to show my vocabulary? Was I able to show my detailing capacity to my examiner by using some advanced types of connectors? Yes, right? Instead of just saying because, due to, in a way, right? you can use these. And believe me, guys, it would require a lot of details for you to be able to show your examiner your vocabulary, your fluency capacity, and 1 to 2 sentences. With 1 to 2 sentences only, it is difficult to do that. It is very difficult to do that with 1 to 2 sentences only, right? Again, my main point for tonight is if you would want to detail for 1 to 2 sentences only, okay, by all means do so. But I have shown you the grading criteria of the IELTS examination, and the grading criteria would require for you to speak at length. And apart from that, use a range of connectors and discourse markers. And how will you be able to do that with just 1 to 2 sentences if you have immediately ended your delivery, right? Okay, another example of 1 to 2 sentences. What is your favorite part of the house? Well, I am a person who enjoys going to the kitchen because the kitchen is where I find food. Look at that. That's 2 sentences, right? That's 2 sentences if I'm going to be putting a period in between the two. But if I'm going to be separating them with a comma, that's 1 sentence, right? So look at that, guys. That pretty short type of an answer is not capable of showing your examiner your true capacity on the examination. All right, my dear darling lovies, that's what I want you to remember on the test. Okay? When given an opportunity, you need to always show your detailing capacity on the test. Again, just to recap it, 3 to 4 sentences or equivalent to 15 to 20 seconds per answer would be enough. But it's easier for you to count the sentences or just arrange the sentences in 4 factions for you to note that you have detailed as much as you can on the test. All right? Okay. So before we go on to our any questions, by the way, guys, on Sunday we are going to be continuing this discussion right here. I will talk about how to detail at length, how to use your cohesive markers, your connectors, right? How to use them on Sunday, right? Apart from that, how can you ensure that you are following the grading criteria of the IELTS speaking? We are going to be focusing on the grading criteria of the IELTS speaking on Sunday, 10 p.m. Philippines time. Ma'am Zea and Sir Jello will be sending the link on your respective group chats very soon. Okay? All right, guys. So guys, just a reminder, you may now practice with Eli for free on Spotify and on anchor.com. So Eli is on Spotify. Eli is your virtual speaking buddy with which he's going to be asking you questions right there. Right? Questions on your speaking, and he's going to give you time to answer. So you may find Eli on Spotify, that is Elite Intellect Virtual IELTS Speaking Buddy, and for Anchor, Elite Intellect Virtual IELTS Speaking Buddy as well. And for YouTube, guys, we have Elite Intellect IELTS Specialist PH. You will see videos there of our past discussions, plus that this discussion shall be uploaded there. And if you want to talk to Ma'am Tanya for our programs, you may find us at Elite Intellect 9.0 on Facebook. All right, that's the link of Elite Intellect. Sir, do most of the part 3 question is connected with the part 2? Guys, we actually have a follow-up round, as you would like to call, Grace. After your part 2, there is a follow-up round, and that is not yet a part of the third part. That's not yet a part of the part 3. During our time, the follow-up round is on the part 3. But now they have done a follow-up round with which they will ask you a question on the second part that is related to the topic. Your part 2 will be followed by a series, maybe 1, 2, or 3 follow-up questions before they move on to the third part of your speaking examination. Right there. Okay? All right, guys. So please, 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 you can find